Wife claims she was visiting her mother, but I looked through her phone and found out she was king up with her married ex. Long and the short is that my wife has been talking/Snapchatting her ex-boyfriend from over 6 years ago. To preface this situation, we have been together for a bit over 6 years, married going on a bit over a year and a half, have recently been in marriage counseling for 3 weeks now due to rocky roads financial-wise, but things have honestly been on the up and up. We argue better and are honestly communicating our need and feelings, or so I thought. She went to walk the dog tonight and left her phone on the couch. I normally don't ever search through her phone as I trust her more than anyone I know. As I was walking past her phone to go to our room, her screen lit up with a Snap notification from someone with the same exact name as her ex. I picked her phone app, unlocked it, and upon opening Snapchat saw that she has a 64-day Snap streak with this dude. I opened the Snap and it was a pic of him. It was indeed her ex-boyfriend. To make matters worse, there is an emoji symbol next to his name with 2 hearts, which upon Googling, I found that it apparently means they have been each other's #1 Snap friend for 2 months straight. This is not the first time some shady stuff has happened with her and texting other guys. She had a male co-worker that was obviously interested in her about 8 or 9 months ago, and I made it very apparent that I didn't like him as he was texting her about non-work related stuff after 9 to 10 at night. So it came time for her to upgrade her phone, and I was setting up her new one and saw that she had needed notifications from this guy. In the text he had asked her to meet up for coffee and she had agreed, but something had come up so it didn't happen. I will admit I'm not a good communicator when dealing with emotional stuff, especially when it is confronting someone I trust with my life. Shout out foster care, emotional trauma, so I held on to it for a few days to digest and then confronted her about it. She broke down and said she had muted the combo because she saw that I would get upset when he was texting her work related or not. We made up. She promised to not let anything happen like that again. That was the last time I checked her phone, and then fast forward to now and I find this garbage. Regarding the ex situation, I'm not sure what to do. I'm obviously not meeting her needs in some way if she finds it okay to communicate with her ex-boyfriend on Snapchat every day for over 2 months straight. I've asked about him before as we were discussing/making fun of crazy exes. And just like a month or 2 ago, and I asked if she still talked to him or if he talked with her, and she said only a few times a year and she was cordial with him, just last, and would love some perspective on what to say/how to move forward. I love this woman to death and want to make this work. I'm just so. Last update. I woke up this morning, confronted her about it, asked her if there was anything she needed to tell me, and she fessed up to having been talking to her ex-boyfriend. To preface this, our marriage has been pretty rocky about the past 6 months. I will admit that I have definitely not done my part as her husband to meet her emotional needs, as I have been grinding away at work. In January, I personally took the initiative to seek therapy to better help me explain my emotions and feelings to her, and I was in therapy for 3 months. I'd say it worked, as we seem to have gotten better as a couple from March to April. The base of our issues, our financial and emotional expectations not being met. I am a programmer. I work a high-stress, high-paying job to provide for my family. And due to the nature of my job, I would get home most nights, eat dinner with her, hang out for a bit, and then squirrel myself away in my office to decompress. In April we again sat down and explicitly laid out expectations to one another. And hers was that I needed to come to bed at the same time every night and be more present, among other things, pick up a bit more around the house, laundry, etc., etc. I took her words to heart and seriously tried to fix my behavior. I struggled the first month but got into the swing of things by June and into July. Stuff seemed to be going well. And then I left for some training in July. It all seemed to implode while I was away at training. She had overspent like crazy while I was gone, but suddenly needed space, and it wasn't helping anything that I was away from her. She quit her stressful job without even telling me, and I was pretty pissed off because she was just unilaterally choosing to do things that impacted both of us. I get back and she is telling me that she was upset. I wasn't supporting her in doing what she thought was right, and that she figured out what she wanted to do. She mocked up a list of all the things she wanted, not even taking into account the added pressure I now felt being the sole breadwinner. We even went out to dinner on my birthday, and it devolved into a fight about her and her happiness. You can read how I discovered the emotional affair in the above linked post. But the long and the short is that this morning when I confronted her, I got to spend 4 agonizing hours on the receiving end of triple truthing, or whatever it's called, before she finally admitted that she had been messaging him on and off for months. She told me that she still has love for him like a soulmate pole, and that due to us being on rocky roads, she had just continued talking to him and confided in him. The problem's happening in our marriage. He is ducking engaged. The more I dug into her story, The more was revealed. Explicit photos were sent back and forth for what she tells me the last few months on and off. The most recent time was last week. She flew to see her mom in March for a little trip. And while there, her ex picked her up on her last day before a plane ride out in the morning, and they had breakfast. He took her to the airport, and she told me that they kissed before she left. I'm so lost. We have no kids, but I make about 85% of the income. Don't know how it would work out divorcing and splitting up. I'm so scared. I don't want to have to start over. But I don't know if I can ever look at her the same. She still loves this guy. And he obviously still loves her. I reached out to the AP fiancé and told her of course AP is denying the photos and kissing and such. I'm just kind of in shock. And last update. I am at this time leaning more towards that if she can't even walk on a gravel road a year and a half, and how can we ever be able to cross the mountains that will inevitably come in a lifelong relationship like this? My wife and I had another discussion where I cross-checked what she was saying to me and what the fiancé of the AP had told me. Most of it lined up, except the AP was of course denying everything. Some more of it had come out. She had been in contact with AP after solidifying the dates of the trip to see her mom. I talked with her mom and my wife did in fact do what she said she was doing with her mom while there, except for the morning of her flight. She had been in contact to see AP if his work schedule lined up, and apparently it happened to, so they drove around and smoked Mary Jane and talked, and then when he dropped her off at the airport, he said, "Where's my kiss?" And in her words, "I met him in the middle." She does seem remorseful, and I'm sure some of it is genuine. I believed a lot more of it was genuine until she said that she realized what she did was wrong and wants me to forgive her because, and I quote, "reality has hit, you know what I mean?" I rolled back into my ducking skull. My response was that the reality is that I literally paid for her to go and kiss another man. On that front, she is pretty adamant about nothing happening beyond kissing. But again, only her and Op know what really happened. And I've dug and the answer has always been that nothing else went on. Now on to next steps. I reached out to a divorce lawyer and he quoted me about $1,500 to get the papers and a no-fault divorce drawn up. Is going no fault the best option, or should I pursue the out fault? I don't have much evidence other than a screenshot of her snap streak and a picture of the guy. I looked up the 180 and I'm following what it says to do. She said that she wanted me to be angry and upset and all of that because that way she would know I want this relationship to continue. Fact is, what I want is changing on the hour, so I don't really know what to do and how to treat her. She keeps saying "I love you" to me. I don't really love her right now. Is it okay to not say that back to her? And finally, the 180 mentioned that I shouldn't bring up or mention the relationship or the future or anything, that I should only talk about it when she is ready because she needs to be the one leading this card and putting in the effort. It's not on me to change. Update. Meeting with an attorney in 2 days was shaking as I made the call. To be frank, I'm scared about the breakup and being on my own again, scared about my finances, just scared man, scared about dating again, scared about trusting anyone again, scared about going through all of this again just to have someone cheat on me again, scared that this is going to forever jade me and make me unable to truly love someone, scared that this is going to permanently alter how I view people and prevent me from loving again. She has a safety net. I don't. But I know what I have to do. And that's taking control of what I can. And at this point in time, it's my happiness. I'm fearful of the days to come, but I know it's going to be all right. Update. Told her I wanted to separate. This ensued possibly the most intense gaslighting and psychological manipulation I'd ever been privy to in my life. She has somehow twisted it in her brain that I am the bad guy for not wanting to try and reconcile that. I don't think our marriage is worth it. Whatever makes her sleep at night. I guess had a text waiting for me when I woke up this morning from her grandmother telling me how surprised she was to discover that my love for her granddaughter was too shallow to work through this issue. I didn't cheat on me, her granddaughter did. I fully on my part in the conditions that led my wife to make this choice, but I did not make her make that choice to cheat on me. I told her that I deserve to be with someone that doesn't cheat on me, and that I can trust unequivocally, and that her granddaughter deserves a partner that is going to trust her completely. And that I never will, again. Was told that I have trust issues I need to go to therapy for because trust can always be regained. I just don't want to put in the work. I know what I have to offer someone, and I want to be with someone that I don't have to change for, that me being me is going to be enough and actually appreciated. My wife doesn't really like any of the hobbies that I entertain myself with, going to drop the divorce agreement with her. Hopefully this week. We are both young, very little shared debt. No kids, no house, should be pretty straightforward. My wife was in a car accident under very strange circumstances. I decided to dig and found out the truth. A couple of days ago, my wife was in a car accident. It was a fender bender, but a bad one. She did need to go to the hospital to get scans on her neck. I had been trying to get a hold of her for just over an hour, but calls were going to voicemail and texts unanswered. Finally, she answered saying she was in the hospital and she had been in a car accident. She made it seem worse than it was. So I didn't know at the time that it was a fender bender. Her story, it was 7:30. She was 20 minutes from work that she left at 5:45. And she was doing good work. She hadn't gotten any order yet, was sitting at a red light and a truck hit her from behind. She was panicked and feeling confused, which is why she didn't call me. She had no answer as to why no nurse or bystander couldn't call me as she knows my number. Her phone was at the bottom of her bag and she had no access to it. She said sorry that she screwed up, making me worry. My suspicions are already building. Quick backstory. She was T 2 years ago and called me before the ambulance got there. So I know how she behaves in those situations. Here's what I got and why I think she was cheating on me. If she had been doing good work for that long with no orders, she would have texted me. If she doesn't get an order for the first 10 minutes, she is texting me annoyed. I already stated why I knew she would have called me. She was in the waiting room when I got to the hospital, like everything had already been done. That was interesting. How long was she actually there? I asked her where her car was towed. And she said it was in a parking lot. So we went there. The closest light is maybe a quarter miles away that she got rear-ended at a light. She gave me her phone so I can see the picture of the truck and I see a dirty pic she had taken that day. Nothing naughty, just at the top and with her shirt pulled up, had no explicit stance. That is unusual of her. She is very funny about her body. She doesn't really take photos without clothes often. Occasionally, but rare. And she just happens to that day. The story she tells makes zero sense. She tells me she was so disoriented from a fender bender. She can't call me, but she gets tea on the driver's side and is able. I think she was doing something she shouldn't have been. And that's why she didn't call me. She filed a police report, which I'm going to see, so she would be dumb to lie unless she was with anyone when it happened. One quick side note: a day or two before I tried to call her and she didn't call me back for over an hour. She said she was shopping and didn't want me to hear where she was. No movement on any cards or bank accounts indicating she spent money shopping. No cash withdrawn anytime recently. Shopping story not being believed anymore. What do you think? Is my wife cheating on me? We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1: someone else was in her car. I bet the police report might have a name of the other party in the car. Rob reply. Yep, I'm going to ask for the report number for the insurance company and just pull the report myself. She won't even question it when I say the insurance company wants it. She doesn't think any steps ahead. If I were in her shoes, there was no way my spouse was getting that report. Fortunately, she doesn't think like that. Comment to no concrete evidence here at all. Don't let your imagination run away with you. Comment 3, trust your gut. Way too much shadiness here. If your state is at fault, hire a pie and play it cool till she cheats again and gives you proof. If your state is not an at fault state, 8, you can just file proof. Won't change anything but your level of certainty. If you have to have proof, you've got work to do. By confronting her, you tipped your hand. Don't do that again. Check what you can yourself. Let the pie do the rest and talk to a lawyer. Get the papers started. It's pretty obvious from the outside, she's cheating, but you are the one who has to pull the pin and divorce her. Be as short as you need to, then don't look back. Reply. I am in a no-fault state. My only thing is that I need concrete proof to move forward with divorce. I will not do it on suspicions. Hiring a PII is a very good idea, but I can't do it without her noticing. If I file, she will sign all our assets are separate. And I don't mind splitting what is in the bank. We own nothing together.